Greetings everyone, welcome to my Sonic issue 199 review, the second part of the final battle with Eggman, even though it isn't, but the heroes don't know that yet. Anyway, let's recap their progress so far. The Freedom Fighters and the Chaotix advanced towards the Doctor's final hideout, the Egg Dome. Eggman got into the action using the Egg Phoenix, but the heroes snuffed out that flame. Too bad for the Doctor's already fragile sanity, he cannot use the machine equivalent of that resurrection item from Final Fantasy and has to rely on his underlings for the next battle. Unfortunately for him, said underlings have plans of their own. We begin with everyone rested up and ready to go, not questioning the fact that there are now 2 holes in the area and a smoke trail from a flying big robot. Off panel, of course. Sally sets up a live stream back to New Mobotropolis because the people want to see the battle. Like Sonic, I question this action, but let's roll with it. Sonic is, with everything ready and her trusted pointy finger, Sally orders the teams to advance. Inside the Egg Dome, the Legion is frantically assembling a barricade in front of the core chamber. The scene also establishes that Dimitri filled the rest of the Legion in on Snively and Regina's plan. Leondahl has reservations, but at this point, what does the Legion have to lose? Sonic enters the Egg Dome after the heavy lifters tore a hole open. Once confirmed the coast is clear, the 2 groups split up to cover more ground. As the Freedom Fighters once again show how pathetic the Legion is, they reminisce on the last time there was a final fight against Robotnik. You know, how many of them were imprisoned in some fashion, and that Sally was in a coma. Good times. We cut over to the Chaotix where we have another trip down memory lane, with Julie Sue being associated with the Legion once, and that she and Vector have developed this fragile respect for one another. And there's this bit of the Protectors being saved by the Protectees. The Chaotix halt their advance when they come across Dimitri. Meanwhile, Leondahl gives a "we're losing" report in a way which I can best describe as "I don't give a crap." Snively, on the other hand, does care about his appearance, as he just showered, added a cape to his uniform, and put on some cologne Regina sent him, which makes Leondahl gag. Hey, Snively's got the right idea. First impressions are important. Still, Snively orders Leondahl to proceed to Phase 2. The Freedom Fighters are pinned down by laser fire. Sally begins formulating another plan, but Sonic points out that's not necessary. The attackers are in retreat. Back over to the Chaotix, Knuckles demands that Dimitri move or else, and Dimitri complies, even wishing his great-nephew good luck. The 2 teams meet up at the barricade. They note how well made it is despite being made of junk, with the exception of this hole. SBO scouted ahead and has determined that the hole is a bottleneck, in which most of them can squeeze through, but that would leave them vulnerable to attack, and B, it's an invitation because, based on various chatter, the hole is designed for a certain blue hedgehog to spin dash through quickly and head straight for Eggman. Sonic, being who he is, accepts despite the objection of the others. Sonic makes a good point as to why he has to engage Eggman right away. Everyone could waste time and energy tearing down the barricade, but they would be exhausted and forced to retreat, and the war would continue. With that said, everyone wishes Sonic good luck before he zips through the hole. The Legion even gives him a fanfare of sorts. Snively has the Legion make final preparations for the takeover while he personally sees the end of the Eggman Empire. Sonic enters the obvious "this is a trap room." I mean, come on, even he figures this out. The issue ends with the setup for the final, even though it isn't, battle with Eggman as he appears with his newest mech, the Egg Tarantula. Like the last issue, this is mostly an action piece, and once more, the Legion is treated as a joke. This time, it's deliberate, as the attack was meant to ultimately drag Sonic into a one-on-one fight with Eggman, which is ridiculous until you remember Eggman's about to crack. Also, the lack of effort on the Legion's part is probably because they've been let in on Snively's plan. I have no doubt Dimitri's informed them all about the bombs inside their cybernetics, so taking a chance with Snively's lady friend is better than getting blown up. As I mentioned earlier, this issue is filled with various nods to the comics lore, which include issue 50, the history between Vector and Julie Sue, Mighty and Espio watching Ray and Charmy respectively, and even the Legion's 2 teams are a nod to the time the Legion had a civil war and named the 2 sides the Frost and Flame Legion. I don't mind this since I've read the comic for years, but the readers that have joined not too long after Ian Flynn became the head writer might not get all of the references. Although, that's why back issues and wikis exist. Tracy Yardley takes the helm again in the art department, and this is a good time to briefly touch upon this. You may have noticed that the vehicle our heroes used during the invasion is radically different than the one from last issue. Now this is speculation, but I've heard that Renee did not stick with the design of the Egg Phoenix as seen in issue 197. The same could apply to this vehicle if the version in 199 is the intended design. Or I could be wrong and the higher-ups decided on a last-minute change. These things happen. It's still confusing to readers, especially the younger ones. If I were to give an in-universe explanation for the shape change, it's made of nanites and Nicole altered it. Yeah, let's go with that. Like the last issue, I'm giving this one a 7. It feels like it's mostly for long-time readers, and the battle itself doesn't feel that epic. But I suppose it was by design. I say again, this is not the final battle. If it was, it's only because the comic's ending, or they plan to get rid of Eggman. But since he's the franchise's main villain, and the comics at the time were doing fine, yeah, you get the idea. Anyway, the next issue is another Sonic vs. Eggman fight, and it's also the 200th issue of the comic. It will be interesting to see what transpires between the two enemies, and how Snively's plan will ultimately play out. It's too bad these people here didn't make this a true event. You know, have some barbecues or do some tailgating activities, the whole 9 yards and stuff.